What's up, guys? It's Jared with Axe to Grind Productions. I'm new here, obviously. I started this channel because I know there's a lot of musicians out there who are kind of stuck in a spot where they want to make music, but all they got is their riffs. Can't find a drummer, can't find a bassist, can't find a vocalist, or whatever. They got their keyboard part and that's all they got, and they want to express themselves, but they don't think anyone wants to hear them just playing keyboard to nothing, and they want to expand their horizons, I guess you would say. We all should be making music. Anyone can do it. You just got to put your mind to it and put it out there. Nowadays it's hard. You get on YouTube and see these amazing guitarists and these super talented people and think, how am I ever going to do that? Why would people watch me if there's people like this out here? Well, they're not perfect, and they didn't start perfect. They got there by starting where you started. It's all about motivation. You just gotta want to keep doing it, but there's so much out there, you need some guideline. So what we're gonna do in this series is we're gonna write songs from scratch. We're gonna come up with our musical part of it. We'll add drums, we'll add bass, we'll add vocals, and I'll be here to answer any questions, to give you tips, and to help you with whatever you could possibly need. The main thing here is to show you that you don't have to be the best guitar player. You don't have to be the best vocalist. There's tricks out here that can get you sounding the way you want to sound in your head. You don't have to lay down the perfect vocal part the first time and expect that to be a record. There's things you do and secrets per se, not necessarily secrets, but just stuff you wouldn't know about when recording and trying to make a full entire song, that once it's all put together, it sounds totally different than what you was thinking or what you had started with. For example, double guitar tracks. I like to record 2 guitar tracks, and I use 2 microphones on 2 different speakers. So that's basically 4 guitar tracks a minimum on my recordings, just to get that feel of the real guitar, that being there with it, like it's next to you. You get that presence and that fullness by doing it that way, versus some people will record 1 track and duplicate it and pan it left and right, but you don't get the humanization that you get from double tracking. It's the errors and the small different things between each track that makes your song feel human and lets people connect to it. There's many ways you can go about doing this. We're going to go over how I like to do it. I've tried many different ways of writing songs and coming up with a method of doing it, and this is just easiest for me. I've been stuck many times where you got 1 part and that's it. What else do I do from here? Or you have a full 3 or 4 minute guitar part and that's all you got. You're like, what else am I supposed to do with it? I can sing on top of it, but no one's out there looking for that. And that's not what you want either. You want the full song. You want to hear that double bass or that slam and tom behind it. So that's what we're going to try to get you to do. And like I said, you don't have to have the best equipment, the most expensive guitars, the most expensive speakers. We're going to try to keep this as budget as we can. And hopefully if you're watching this, you have a lot of this stuff anyways. You've done your research, you've found good reviews. It's a vast world of information out there. So I'll tell you what I use personally, and you know, you can do your own research or shoot me a message. We can talk about it. Whatever the case be. To start, you're going to need a way to record yourself and your instruments, and you know, just to get that sound on a disc, hard disk, CD. I don't know if people still use CDs anymore. I use a Behringer U-PHORIA UMC404HD. It's a 4-channel audio interface from Behringer, obviously. It's got Midas preamps, you know, for your condenser mics and everything else like that, for your phantom power. Got 4 outs for your monitors, or you know, you've got your headphone mix out, so you can mix and record just on your headphones. You don't need to go buy studio monitors to start, you know, making a song. I think they're like 150, 200 bucks at the most for the big one. You don't necessarily need a 4-channel. You could probably get away with a 1-channel, as long as you're doing each part individually. You know, just separate it up, record your tracks, and then we'll get into mixing it in a later video. Next, you're going to need a DAW, or a digital audio workstation, somewhere you can send that signal and record it and save it, and you know, change your levels and add your effects and your EQs and do your mixing and mastering on. There's tons and tons of DAWs out there. I personally use Reaper. They have a free demo, if you want to call it that. It's actually the entire program, no limits. They let you try it for free for a certain amount of time. They don't shut you off, but they ask that you pay like $50 or $60 at the end of it to get a license, and that'll cover all your updates, and you'll be, you know, it's yours. You can do whatever you do in it. You get to do it. You get all the features either way. It's well worth the money. It does just as much or more as everything out there. There's nothing you won't have to make an entire song that sounds like something you heard on the radio. And if that's your goal, that's what we're going to try to get you to. We're going to split it up into series. You know, we're going to start with coming up what our song's going to sound like, and then we're going to try to find that tempo, and then we're going to add some drums to it, and you know, the bass, and we're going to start adding all the parts until it sounds like something, and our idea, you know, is starting to come together. And then at the end, we'll do final tracks, our final recordings, and we'll go into mixing that and adjusting levels, gain staging, EQs, to get that sound that you're looking for. Because a lot of you may have already tried recording, and when you play it back, you're like, what the heck is this? Like, it sounds way better when I'm out here. What am I doing wrong? And there's so much to do and so much that you can do that you're not necessarily doing anything wrong. You just haven't learned it yet. You know, we didn't all just come out here and know how to make a perfect recording. Even me, I'm not a professional. I'm not a great guitar player. I'm not a great vocalist. I can just do a couple of things, but it's enough that we can make a song and that people like. And it's the same for you. If you put some time into it, you can make whatever you want. And I'm just here to kind of get that thought out of your head and help you put it somewhere so you can share it with your friends, your family, or just yourself. If you just want to jam to your own music all the time, that's fine. That's what I like to do. I like to record my stuff, and when, you know, I'm at the end of the production, I'm like, dang, I made that. Sometimes that's all you need and that's all you want. And that's fine. Music is just about being creative. Some people want to share their creativeness with others, some don't, you know. So let's get on with making music. So I know you're tired of hearing me talk, but I figured I'd kind of do an introduction for you so you can see where we're going to go with this channel. I obviously like to start with guitar. I play guitar, and that's kind of the basis. I like metal, rock, so usually that's where I would start. If you're a keyboard player, you might start with your keyboard parts. You know, write an entire song that you think sounds cool, different changes, until you got a decently length part, and then we'll start working off of that and add, like I said, all the other instruments, everything to make it sound like a full song, so that you feel like you're accomplishing something with your music and you're going in the direction that you want to go. Well, let's get started on writing a song. I like to open up my program, Reaper, on my tracks that I'm recording, and I just start recording licks. For the sake of the video, I have some guitar parts already came up with. I'm going to show you kind of how I went through the process of figuring those out, so you can kind of have a guideline, but really this is all on you. Your song is what you wrote. You know, whatever your instrument is, whether your guitar, keyboard, your vocals, write your song the way you've been writing them and get your full length, you know, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever length song you feel comfortable with, and get that figured out. That's what our process is going to be in this first video, is the foundation of our song, so that we have, you know, building blocks to have a complete song that you can share on YouTube, Facebook, or, you know, whatever you're going to do with it. So let's get started, and I'm going to grab a guitar. Using this beautiful KM6, and this thing's just awesome. So what I usually do is I just open this up and I start recording my licks. Like I said, I'm going to use some stuff I already came up with, but I'll show you how I came up with. When I first started, I came up with this lick, and I knew that that's where I wanted the song to start off of and how I wanted it to sound. So let's go into recording that, and this is it. So basically that's all I had, and like I said, you're not worried about playing this perfect right now. You're just trying to write a song, figure out your changes, and get a full length of music that we can start with. So after I had came up with that part, I knew that, well, we can go from there. Where do I want to go? So I started doodling around on the guitar until I found some parts that I liked. So you'll do the same. Start your record after the part you already came up with, and start going into different transitions to see what you like. I'll show you what I came up with for after that. So I would have just came in here and started recording at the end of where I stopped, basically, you know, because we're trying to give a layout basically to how the song's going to play out, so we know how we're going to add drums, how we're going to add bass, how we're going to add vocals. Whatever's missing, this is going to tell us where it's going to go and how we're going to do it. You're not worried about tempo. You don't have to follow metronome right now, because you may not know exactly how fast the song's going to be, but in a later video we will figure that out. We'll get your tempo, and on the final recording, your guitar, your keyboard, whatever instrument you're using, will have it tracked perfectly on beat, and you don't have to worry about following a metronome. It's a good habit to get into, but a lot of people can't. It throws them off, and they just want to play that music. A lot of music is just feel and emotion, so there is no metronome inside of us. It's just whatever you're playing. So like I said, my next part that I came up with, I came in here, I hit my record button, and this is what I came up with. So as you can see, I found another part, and then I remember when I was recording and trying to write this guitar part that the chugging part just came as I was playing, and a lot of times that will happen if that's how you write your parts. So you can just keep recording. You already have a part, and you may go all the way to the end of the song with enough changes, and your idea just comes that fast. So a lot of times it does. You can play the whole thing and be like, whoa, that was sweet, that's how I want it to change, and then that's what you will work off. I remember I got stuck right there and was like, what am I going to do? So I played around just doing different notes until I could think of something that went with and then I had finally found it, and I came up with this next part that we'll record. So obviously same thing. I start my record where I left off last time, and I usually like to go from the part before if it's hard part to go into. This one I think is pretty slow, so I'll just go into recording what would come after that. And it's something like this. And as you can see, I went back into a prior part that I wrote before because I figured that would go in good. And that's kind of how you progress your foundation, is by doing that. You're just playing. And whatever sounds good is what sounds good to you, is what you want to record, because that's how it is. It's an expression of what you are hearing in your head, basically. So get to the point where you have a full-length song. And as you can tell by this recording, you don't have to play it perfect. You don't have to hit every note. You don't have to do everything perfect. All we're trying to do right now is to get stepping stones so we can start building our house, basically. From here, I would shift these parts around, maybe add another measure here, add another measure there, which also we will do in final recordings. Once we add drums and we add bass, there'll be parts that will be distinct. You're like, I need to add something here, and we'll go over that once we get to it. So at the end of this video, I'm gonna leave you with, go write your part. If you already have a part wrote, get it down on a recording. Let's get this recorded so that we can, move further and help you get to that vision that you've been trying to reach. Whether you've been stuck, whether you just didn't know how to do it, or you just need ideas. I'll be here. You can leave comments. If you need drum ideas, if you need guitar ideas, whatever. I do a lot of instruments. I love music. I listen to all kinds of music. It doesn't just have to be metal. This is going to apply to everything. Our mixing and our EQ may be based on metal, but the foundation is going to be set for you to record whatever type of music you want. It's somewhat instrument based, but I don't play the drums. We will add drums, and you won't be able to tell, you know, from a normal person that it's not even a real drum set. You know, professionals and the nitpicky people, they'll tell you, oh, that's probably MIDI drums, but that doesn't matter. You may not even be trying to do anything with your music other than record it so you can show people, and they don't care about that. They just want to hear your music, and they do want to hear it. A lot of people don't think people want to listen to their stuff, and they do. Your friends care about what you're doing. They may give you a hard time. Other people will give you a hard time. That's just 2019. But stick with me, and at the end of the series, I think we can get you a song that you're proud of and that you want to spend, you know, maybe money on actually recording or sending out to people to further your career if that's what you're trying to do. Or you don't spend anything and you're just making music so you can listen to it and you can jam. Whatever you want to do with it, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to help you get what's in your head to a track, so that, I mean, what else are we doing? Anyways, I think that's about enough of me. We'll leave here. I will go through the process of recording the full track, you know, a rough draft with you. So when we come back, we both have a rough draft, and we continue on to adding a beat to that and, you know, getting the sound we're looking for. So come back, subscribe if you want, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, leave a comment, and let's get this going.